What's going on, my PT peeps? I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about the Walking Dead universe, the Daryl Dixon show, New York City Comic-Con, all that good stuff. So we're going to talk about, just the world of Walking Dead. So, of course, spoiler warning always. Got to give that spoiler warning. So we'll talk about the latest episode, the season 1 finale, which was great. Set up season 2, obviously, because we know a lot of information there. And, so we'll talk about that the last 45 minutes of the stream. So we'll talk for the next hour. Hopefully you guys are doing well. We got a little cool down in Florida where I'm at. It's supposed to be cool the next couple of days. I won't be able to do a live stream next Sunday, but let's talk about the Daryl Dixon season finale today, the Walking Dead universe, any other shows or stuff you want to talk about. Fear the Walking Dead comes back next week. And, we'll talk about all that stuff for sure. But my expectations are low for Fear the Walking Dead. That's for sure. I think it's going to be laughable, some of the things, potentially. But how does it fit with Madison, Troy, all that stuff, too. So what's up, Tim, Big Tree, and Negan1? How we all doing, guys, and everybody else that's joining as we speak? So hopefully you're safe and sound. I'm doing pretty well. A little craziness at the clinic. When I left on Friday, our air conditioner was leaking water and stuff in there, so they were hopefully going to fix that on Saturday. So we'll see what is going in on Monday. TWD Clips 23. I'll talk about the finale, don't worry, but I enjoyed it. So I really enjoyed, general, common, talking points here, common stuff that's going around for the Walking Dead universe. I don't want to give anything away just yet. Hey, Kelly. But I enjoyed the entire season of Daryl Dixon. And it's not a shocker because Daryl, to me, is up there as one of the most important characters in the Walking Dead universe. History of the entire show. It's not the comic because he's not in the comic, but the entire show. And it doesn't, it's not a stretch to think, wow, he can carry his own show. Yeah, it's in France and it's this and, it works, though. It works. There's some things that are like, what? What is up with that? And we'll get into all that stuff. But it's not anything make or break, I thought the teaser was great. Again, clips, we're going to talk about that in the last 45 minutes. So give it 13 more minutes, and then we can discuss full force with that stuff, too. But, so New York City Comic-Con was this past Thursday. Norman was there. Greg Nicotero was there. Some guy from Entertainment Weekly was hosting the panel. Not Chris Hardwick, which it's kind of weird to not see Chris Hardwick on a panel discussion leading the show. But either way, I enjoyed it so far. There's not really too many other shows that we're watching right now. I'm busy at work and doing a lot of craziness there. So, it's one of those things that we're excited for you guys to check out the episode if you haven't seen it yet. Fear the Walking Dead starts next Sunday. So the final 6 episodes. The big news is that The Ones Who Live will premiere in February, which we thought it would be February. And it's awesome that they're confirming just everything that we kind of knew. Everything that was known going around from sources and potential sources and stuff, like, we thought it would be February. We guessed it would be February. We don't have a date exactly yet, but it just makes sense that it's February because Fear of the Walking Dead starts the 22nd. So that's 1, 2, and then we're into November 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 26th of November, The Walking Dead is done for this year to pick up next year. So I don't know if Dead City can start filming or whatever that whole thing is there too, if they're going to get an exemption, if the actors thing is still going to be affecting them this year. So it might be delayed till next year because they wanted to start filming that this year. But so by November 26th, Fear the Walking Dead will be done. I'm excited. Jonathan Wilder. Q&A, what's up? So just talking about the Walking Dead universe. We're excited to talk about that here too. So yeah, Brady. So right now, it says only 6 episodes for the new series with Rick and Michonne. That's the word that's been the word for a long time. 1 season, 6 episodes. So let's talk about New York Comic Con. So I wasn't there, but I've seen some of the reports and the stuff that was happening. The big thing is that we're getting a season 2 of the Daryl Dixon show. It will be titled The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol, which is cool. What's up, Andre? So that's cool. And you see Carol at the end of the episode, and we'll talk about that. We'll start talking about that in about 10, 15 minutes or so. So the Book of Carol, the Daryl Dixon season 2. The title's okay, but it doesn't really matter that much. But Carol's back, and Carol's awesome. And, Carol and Daryl, besides Rick, are 2 of the biggest characters in the Walking Dead universe. And them coming together on a show is just going to work, too. So, yeah, Jacob, I'll talk about all that stuff there, too. But it's basically highlighting Carol, which is cool, which is awesome. More Carol, more Daryl, more Rick, more Michonne. So at New York City Comic Con, they talked about, the people got to watch the episode of the Daryl Dixon show, the finale. And then they talked about some questions, and they talked about some things, and that Melissa McBride is going to be a series regular. She's going to be executive producer. It's going to be basically what they all do. So Norman Reedus, series regular, executive producer. Melissa McBride, series regular, executive producer. Jeffrey D. Morgan, series regular executive producer, and Lauren Cohen, series regular executive producer. It's going to be the same thing with Norman Reedus, or with Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera and all the people that had their spinoffs. So there was nothing else confirmed about any other spinoffs besides the fact that I haven't seen it yet, but there's been a lot of talk. And a lot of stuff that was going around, and people are posting this stuff everywhere, that Gimple confirmed the idea of all the spinoffs coming together for another series. Now, I haven't seen Gimple say this. I haven't seen that. I've seen reports of that. So it would be Daryl Dixon, Dead City, Fear the Walking Dead, World Beyond, Ones Who Live. Anything like that would be coming together for a final series. Where we're guessing that would be like an Endgame style thing that we've wanted for a long time, to have the Commonwealth and all the good guys go against CRM, which are the bad guys, come together for a final series. The Endgame is that. That's what it truly is. Bing, bada, boom. Major stuff. Don't know if it'll be multiple seasons or what would happen with that. So if that's going to happen, I would assume Rick and Michonne live. Because if that's going to be something that happens there, they have to be a part of it. If Rick and Michonne are not in, if that series is actually going to happen, where we're going to have a final series, probably 6 episodes, because that's what they like doing, I would think it would have to have Carol, Daryl, Maggie, Negan, Rick, Michonne, Morgan, and whatever else they want to do. Whoever else they want to bring there. What does it need to be? Madison and Strand and Daniel and all that stuff? No. But it would be cool to see everybody come together, World Beyond characters, this and that. Everybody would have their part. Just like Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. It could be 2 seasons. I don't know what the actual thing would be. So I think that would be pretty cool. So Joanne says, I listened to Gimple it would be New York Comic Con, not San Diego Comic Con, Joanne. But he backed into that. He's backed into that. It's not sure he was backed in that response. There's a heart on. I can't really see. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But there's a lot of talk, So hopefully you saw the Rick Grimes. So the Ones Who Live, not just the Rick Grimes teaser trailer. It's 37 seconds. They don't give us much yet again, but I'll take it too. So Carol asks, Q&A, is it true all the spinoffs and original shows will culminate in the end? I don't know. Like again, Carol, I don't know if that's exactly what it is going to happen, but there's been a lot of talk of that. And I think it's made sense, and that was my ending for a long time, so that would make sense for that to happen for the true Endgame feel, and that's how you wrap it up. But at this pace, it would have to be like a major time jump, because if you're going to have Judith in it, she's way older. The World Beyond kids are way older. Anybody like that was a young kid, you would have to have a new actor or something to work with the time jump, time period, timeline. Like Mo, like how old would she be if Morgan and Mo show up? So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff going around, but we'll see. We're not there yet. Fear the Walking Dead has to come back next week for 6 episodes and wrap that up. But if there's talk of them all coming together, then I'm guessing a lot of people are going to live on Fear the Walking Dead, just like a lot of people lived on The Walking Dead. Like, I thought they were going to kill a bunch of people off. Like, I thought Aaron or Father Gabriel was going to die. I thought Jerry or somebody was going to die. I thought this character was going to die, and all they killed off was Rosita. So, and Luke and Jules. Great. Nobody of significance. Nothing crazy. No crazy deaths. They left it open-ended. So, okay. You got the Commonwealth. You got CRM. You got stuff there. Now you have France. You got this. You got that. You got the people in Maine that Daryl's been a part of, and now Carol. So it's cool. I mean, I'm excited to see where it's going to go. It's continuing on. It's on its last leg, The Walking Dead. It just feels like... So I was talking with a coworker of mine, and I was talking about The Walking Dead a little bit with him. And he said he gave up on it. So he gave up on the end of it. But I don't know who's at my door now, but I don't know what that is. But so it's one of those things where we'll have to see what's going to happen with the future of The Walking Dead universe. But... I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I enjoyed the Walking Dead series, and it's definitely something that I don't know what's going to happen, but New York Comic Con confirmed a couple things. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know who this person is, but so we have to talk about. So, hold on. I'll be right back. I don't know who this person is. All right, let's try that again. I don't know what that was, but part 2, take 2. Just a neighbor putting something on my door, just being annoying. So we'll pick it up right where we left off. Sorry. I don't know what was going on with that, but yeah. So ultimately, guys, the Walking Dead Universe, Daryl Dixon show, I've enjoyed it from start to finish. Hopefully you guys have too. I definitely think that the Daryl show really helped the Walking Dead universe, and it's definitely something that I am excited to see where it goes. With Laurent, it worked. With Isabel, was a great new character. With, a bunch of people that just was exciting to see where it's going to go. And at first, I said Daryl going to France didn't make sense. It was one of those things that were dumb. It was one of those things that were like, I don't know, how's he going to get there, blah, blah, blah. And it worked. And then at the end of it, now, that Carol's coming there. So we know that Carol's joining season 2 because Carol was already seen filming in France, and we knew that Daryl wasn't coming home because they were filming in France. So the fact that they were filming and doing stuff makes sense that Daryl doesn't come home yet. But now it's confirmed. Melissa McBride is going to be part of season 2. She there, and I think the word is that they're going to start filming this week. Now, I'm guessing the exemption still works because of AMC and what they did for that. But from my knowledge, I believe that the actor strike is still going on. The writer strike is done, but it's definitely something that I don't know how it's going to affect the other shows, and then the post production for The Ones Who Live too. So. The Ones Who Live, I'm excited to see there. So the big talk was about Rick Grimes. So in the trailer, before I was interrupted by whoever's knocking at the door, it was something that we got to see 37 more seconds of Rick and Michonne. We see Rick in the woods chopping up a walker with his axe, and then he kills another walker, I'm guessing, and there's a close-up of him with a jacket, and then Michonne with her samurai armor and everything, which is cool. But the big question is, does Rick lose his hand? So there's a lot of talk, and I made 2 videos about it, and a lot of questions. A lot of people are saying, like, Rick lost his hand, confirmed, blah, blah, blah. It's not confirmed in the video by my eyes. What I think is that his hand is like this, so it's like flatter, and then it's kind of blurry, and it's just weird. So when he has his left hand and he's swinging the axe, his hand is kind of splayed out, and it looks unnatural, it looks weird because his hand would be down and you would see it. So people are thinking that he already lost his hand. But there's another clip from the first teaser trailer where he's chopping down on something. So can he chop the chain off from the handcuff? Can he get the handcuff off without hurting his hand, or does he have to chop his hand off for that? It makes sense that he would lose his hand because he loses his hand in the comic, and it's also, I'm guessing, Andrew Lincoln is right-handed, so he has to chop off his left hand because of the the green screen, blue screen, something. He can do it now for 6 episodes or 5 episodes or whatever it would be, and you can hide it with stuff. But we never saw him filming without a hand, a green screen or glove on his hand, or anything that made us think that. There's a lot of pictures of filming, and he doesn't have that. So will it be confirmed? Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? I don't know. So it's one of those things where a lot of people are talking about it, and then we get to see Michonne and Rick, and then there was a couple still images of a couple of new characters and where they fit, which is at the see too. So reminds me a lot of callbacks and everything too, and the Daryl Dixon show did a great job of that. So all right, let's talk about the Daryl Dixon show for the next 44 minutes. So we got the Daryl Dixon show is done. If you've watched the episode early, 6 episodes, went quick. This was like the quickest series because it was good. Every episode was good. I was excited to see it every week. We're also watching Loki. If you guys are watching that on Disney Plus, it's 2 episodes in, and I'm really glad that Ke Quan, who's Data from the Goonies and Short Round from Indiana Jones, has a big part, some pretty big part in the series, and I'm glad to see him involved again with acting because he's great. I mean, he's just, I don't know, just the nostalgia of it, but he also does a good thing. But ultimately, the Daryl Dixon show is worth watching. It's awesome. Dead City and the Daryl Dixon show have really been a good addition to the Walking Dead universe. It's what we needed instead of Fear the Walking Dead, instead of World Beyond. Like, those are so lower level than Dead City and the Daryl Dixon show, in my opinion, right? So, test. So the Daryl Dixon show was 6 episodes. I wish it was more. Dead City, 6 episodes. I wish it was more. Fear the Walking Dead, 8 seasons. I wish it was less. I wish it was half as much. World Beyond, I wish it was half as much. I wish it was 1 season of 10 episodes or 2 seasons of 6 episodes. But it is what it is. We got to get to watch something, and Daryl going to France is good. So let's talk about the final episode, the season finale of it too. So I'm excited to see what happens in season 2, and they definitely did a big thing of setting up Carol coming there. So I don't know if that's a post-credit scene with Carol or the ending of the season, but so we get to see Carol trying to track down Daryl, which is cool, but that's the ending. So the beginning is Daryl in the fighting pit, and it reminded me a lot of Gladiator. It reminded me a lot of just Roman Empire, Gladiator situation. Daryl is in there, but instead of fighting animals or people or whatever, he's fighting walkers. So he gets the walker, and he kills it. He gets he for some reason, he's given a weapon, which you had to even the odds a little bit. And I don't know why they had to shoot the dart into his neck. Why doesn't just somebody come stab him in the neck and then just run out of there? Because they were already holding him enough. So, but either way, they shot him and put the arrow in, or the dart in with the chemical compound, which is kind of crazy. So they can work on walkers, trying to like weaponize them and enhance them and whatever with them, but instead they're doing that instead of trying to destroy them or wipe them all out, like, or collect them. Right? Like, why don't you just collect them and do whatever you want with them and then drop them in a place and then control them somehow that way? Like, they're not controlling them. They're just making them super strong or super fast or harder to kill. But either way, Daryl kills the one walker after chopping it a little bit, stabbing it in the gut, and then the acid burns the... So Daryl was burned twice from burners, and he was fine. He didn't have really any ill effects from it. So... But he stabs the walker in the gut against the wall. The walker runs off of it, basically. He would be bleeding profusely, the walker, as he had a major cuts in his stomach and gut and everything. But either way, Daryl kills that one. So then he stabs it with a flag, and, and then they're like, okay, they come in, take the walker out, and it's kind of shocking to everybody. And then they bring another walker in. But Oh, wait. They don't. They bring in Quinn. And you think Quinn and Daryl are going to have to fight each other. They get kind of handcuffed together with a chain kind of thing. And Quinn's given a weapon, and Daryl uses the same weapon. But now then the lights go out. And then there's walkers that are chained up on the ends. I don't know how they got in there and how it was, but either way, they're there. They shoot the darts in them again. One of the walkers' heads explodes because it was too much for the walker, and he didn't. That's what happened with the testing. You see that one. But then there's 2 walkers left. Quinn and Daryl fight off the walkers, and they kill the one walker. They chop the one leg off, and Daryl flips the one walker. And it's good. It's a good fight sequence. It works. But then in the process, Quinn gets bit or burned. I think he said it's a burn, but he gets burned on his back, and he said he didn't feel it. But we knew Quinn was going to die, and we thought that Quinn would have to do something heroic, and he does. So Daryl and Quinn kill the walkers, and they're about to... And Daryl throws the walker head after they decapitate him at Jeanette, which is great. Kind of just like gladiator, Roman style, that stuff. And he does what he does there. And then they're about to shoot Daryl, and then Falou and his group take out the gunman. And then Daryl and Quinn run in through the opening that's there, and they get out of the fighting pit. Everybody scatters. I don't know how Falou and whatever got their weapons in, and it's not really explained. But who cares? Daryl was saved. And so it's Daryl and Quinn going through the, holding cell area, trying to get out of there. Laurent and Isabel are in the holding cell. But Isabel stole a key, and she gets out. Her and Isabel get out. Or Laurent and Isabel get out. Cadron takes soldiers are there to trying to find Daryl and blah, blah. Quinn, I told you, gets burned or bit. It's kind of hard to see what it is. I think he said it's a burn. But Daryl says, look, I can still get to Isabel and Laurent and save them. And so Daryl cuts off Quinn's hand. And Quinn fights off the other people so Daryl can get away and escape. Kind of like a Merle type of situation too. So, yeah, Tim asks Q&A, if a burner walker still has skin flesh, why doesn't the acid burn through them until getting stabbed leaks out? Great question. I mean, I guess it just has to be a cut that goes through the circulatory system. I guess we're supposed to believe that the arteries can hold it. But again, we shouldn't overthink things too much or try to figure it out because the variant stuff doesn't make sense. Because how did the variants get to the United States? Why are they picking stuff up? But here they're super fast and crazy with the scientific stuff and the experiments. Like, how does it really connect? How does it really work? I guess it doesn't. So either way, but it doesn't. Try not to overthink it. I don't know. I'm not trying to figure out the science of walkers because if you think about the walkers should have already decayed badly by now. 12 years into the zombie apocalypse, there should be very few of them too. So. Why did he cut his hand off? Because he couldn't cut the chain. So he cut the hand so he could get off. He could take the thing so they can split up, and Daryl could get away. So it was easier to cut through the flesh and bone than the steel of the chain. So Quinn fights off so-and-so. Daryl gets away, and then Daryl gets stuck behind like a gate thing that he can't get to Laurent and Isabel. But as Isabel and Daryl are Laurent and Isabel are divided from Daryl from the gate, can't get through it. Walker Quinn comes out, and Isabel kind of fights him off, and Daryl gives Laurent the the blade, the sword, the halberd, the battle axe type of thing, I guess it is. And so then Laurent has to kill his dad, Quinn, who's a walker, and it's kind of a big deal for him because he's never had to do that before, and blah blah. Then they get out. Falou, Daryl meets up with Falou, the other guy, and Sylvie, and they go to get one of the vehicles to go out. Falou helps them, and they get a vehicle, and they drive out, and Falou and the other guy leave, never to be seen again in the season. So Sylvie, Daryl, Laurent, and Isabel are in the Jeep, and they're talking, and they're doing this, and then the Jeep breaks down, and luckily they pull in right into a garage. And so they're talking and this. And, at the beginning also, the other thing that I skipped over is that the opening starts with World War II and Omaha Beach and just, Normandy, where the soldiers came on. And apparently Daryl Dixon's grandfather, William T. Dixon, I believe, I could be wrong if that was his name, on the actual cross stone thing that was there, buried in France, he was there. It says Georgia. It says June 6th, 1944, I think, is what the date is. And so he sees the thing, and it makes sense, and it connects. So we get to find out a little more about Daryl, how Daryl was forced to take the engine apart and put it back together again if he didn't do it. So, like, you're not being blocked. I see your thing right there, and it says, I'm being blocked again. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what you're talking about. But, so Daryl talked a little bit about his backstory, and as he's trying to fix the Jeep, Isabel is there helping him, and then Daryl goes underneath the Jeep, and he's working on it, and he asks for a wrench. And then I don't know how Cadrone and the other people just sneak up on it. Isabel doesn't say a word. You don't hear any footsteps. You don't hear anything. It's the classic movie and TV show stuff. It makes no sense. But either way, Daryl comes out underneath, gets smacked in the head by the wrench that Cadrone has. It's Cadrone and 3 other of Jeanette's soldiers who have Sylvie, Isabel, and Laurent. And Cadrone is given the gun from the soldier, and he points it at Daryl. And for some reason, Cadrone kills all the soldiers. He kills all of Jeanette's people. The guy that was behind Laurent, behind Sylvie, behind this. Isabel's actually stabbed by one of the soldiers. And it's definitely something that doesn't really make sense because Cadrone is going to shoot Laurent first, and that's what they wanted to do. And I guess that's why he kills all of them. But I don't know why he didn't shoot Daryl. Like, it doesn't make any sense because Cadrone was saying that you died today. And so, but I don't know. Either way, Cadrone kills the soldiers and says, not today, Daryl Dixon. Takes the pocket watch with the picture of the place where the nest is, and then he leaves and just walks away. And just leaves. But they say that it's about a day's walk, and then Daryl, Sylvie, Isabel, who was stabbed previously, not doing well, she lives, and Laurent get to the nest. They open the doors, and everything is great, and they're like, oh, and they go there, and they party, and they have a good time. And I guess the pigeons told them that they were coming, and that they knew what to expect. But then the person at the nest, I didn't get his name, even though he's from Hoboken, New Jersey, he said that he saw Laurent before at the Abbey, so he kind of knew what it was. So he kind of knew who Laurent was and everything. So Daryl gets them there safe, and they have a party, I guess, and they eat and they drink and they have a good time. And Daryl's teaching the people there how to use the rifles, and they're playing soccer and they're just having a good time. And Daryl says, I have to get back. I can't stay here. I can't do whatever. And Isabel is kind of mad that Daryl's not going to stay. So Daryl eventually gets word from the person who runs the nest that they have a boat ready for him to go. He has to walk to the so-and-so place. So he gets to the so-and-so place, and after walking, and there's a walker in a tree kind of thing, and then Daryl doesn't say bye to Laurent. He just leaves, and so Daryl gets to a place where there's an American flag in the sky, in the ground. And so he checks it out, and there's all these graves. So I'm guessing it's, Normandy, and I'm guessing it's the beach where it happened there too. So, and as he's checking all the graves, he finds William T. Dixon. He finds his grandfather's grave. And then all these walkers come out of nowhere. He sees a boat in the distance. It's the boat that he needs to get to in the water. It's not like docked or anything. It's in the water. And it's like he takes out the Morning Star or mace or whatever it actually is called, and he's like, boom, boom, and taking them out, stabbing and killing it. And there's like 100 walkers. Like, where all these walkers come from? Like, I don't get it. I don't know where these walkers were doing here, what was going on. But they were like hiding, and they were in a cave, and they came out, and blah, blah. And Daryl's killing a bunch of walkers. And as he walks down to the beach, he's walking. He hear, Daryl. And Daryl looks back, and there's Laurent. How did you get there? Why did you get out? Nobody's with him. Walkers are about to walk towards him. What? So Daryl, it ends with Daryl, for Daryl at least, looking at the boat and looking back at Laurent, and then we don't know what he's going to do. He's clearly going to stay and protect Laurent. He's not going to leave him in danger, but that's what happens. Then the ending scene for Cadron is that he's talking to Jeanette in Jeanette's place, and there's two soldiers behind Cadron, and he's like, we were ambushed, we were this, we were attacked. Kara asks, do you think Cadron will die? There was a red couch in Jeanette's office. I think so. I mean, I thought he was going to die here, but I guess he's going to give up. I think he'll die in the second season. He'll give up some information about how to get to the nest or something, or get tortured or something like that too. So he basically lies and say they were ambushed and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then Jeanette's like, well, my people were dead, but you don't have a scratch on you. And he's like, well, I ran after the boy and I got away and I was too late and I was this and blah, blah, blah. And Jeanette says, you know what I did before the zombie apocalypse? I worked at a museum, me and the paintings and the thousands of eyes and blah, blah, blah. And I developed the skill that said that I can tell who's lying and who's telling the truth. So she knows that Cadron is lying because he's lying. And he says, smokes the cigarette that Jeanette gave him. And Jeanette asks, you killed my men. And he says, yes, they were going to kill the boy. And so I couldn't let that happen. And, and then they say, where is he at? Blah, blah, blah. And then he doesn't say anything. So he gets hit in the back and he's taken down. He says, it's going to get worse from here. And then they take him out and they take him away. And so we don't see what happens to him. So very much alive. Jeanette's very much alive. Scientists very much alive. Basically, majority of people live besides Quinn and a couple people that needed to fill in the gaps here. So we have, and then at the end, we see Daryl's bike being ridden down the road. And then it's not Daryl. It's not Carol. It's some dude with long blonde hair with a red dude with a red rag on his head, basically. And he's driving along, and then this car comes flying up behind him. It's kind of a badass Mustang, which would be pretty cool because you would think that you would have cars and vehicles and whatever, now. Especially like electric cars, but back then they didn't have electric cars yet because it's like 2010 when the zombie apocalypse started there, so none of that was around. And then the motorcycle speeds up ahead and gets away from it. And then he stops over the train tracks and takes out his rifle and shoots the front of the Mustang. The Mustang kind of slows down. It's like smoking, and it stops. The guy points his rifle at the person. The person gets out, and it's Carol. Carol gets out, and she's like, whoa, I'm looking for someone, blah, blah, blah. How'd you get that bike? I found it on the road, da-da-da-da, whatever. But I'm going to take the rest of your stuff. So he looks into the car, nothing in there, open up the trunk. As the guy's looking through the trunk, Carol slips out probably a wrench or some sort of tool, and then boom, knocks the guy out. The guy's tied up in the trunk. Carol says, hey, how'd you get the bike? Actually sold it. I sold a couple things for it, blah, blah, blah. Where, someplace, get to the gas station, make a left, or make a right, or whatever he says. And so they're in Maine again, because Carol talked to Daryl. So she knew to go to Maine. She knew to go around there. So it connects with their radio conversation. We don't know who came back home. We didn't see the French CDC. We didn't see other connections with the World Beyond post-credit scene. We didn't see any of that stuff. Maybe season 2. But Carol says, good, I'll go check it out, and I'll be back for you. He's like, wait, no, and it poof, and it closes the trunk, and then Carol gets on the motorcycle and rides away to go to that group, and then that's the end of that. But there's a leaked little trailer that shows Carol has Daryl's crossbow, and she goes to the camp where Daryl was. So she's walking around in the woods, and we get to see stuff, and, Carol 2024, so that'll be next year, because they should resume filming, I believe on Monday is when they should start filming again in France for season 2 of the Daryl Dixon Show. The Book of Carol is what it's titled, too, which is cool, and that's how it ends. And I don't think I missed anything, but I'm trying to think about how the episode was, but it was a good series. Like, it really worked. Yeah, the burners and the this and Cadron just killing the random people and all the walkers and whatever. It is what it is. That's the Walking Dead universe. It's like some things are likable on there too. So Yeah, Dragon says, you would think a car would be wanted over a bike having a roof and all. Yeah, I mean, I would assume so, especially if you can run it on ethanol and get it souped up and get it connected. I would assume too. And you probably would get better gas mileage in a car than a motorcycle, I would assume, but I'm not sure. Jason, how many seasons of the Daryl Dixon show will there be until he finds Rick? Do you think they'll rush it or be patient with it? Well, I thought there was going to be 3 seasons of the Daryl Dixon show. There's definitely going to be 2 seasons. We know that because the Carol will be focal point of the 2nd season. But I think there's going to be a 3rd season of the Daryl Dixon show. I don't know if it's going to be filmed back here, but it makes sense. Do they bring Isabel and those people back, or is the nest safe and protected? Do they kill Jeanette? I didn't see any connections with the CRM or the Civic Republic with Jeanette and her people. It just makes sense that So I don't know. It's something that it works. We'll see. Hopefully they have an end game with it, but I have faith in Norman Reedus. I have faith in Greg Nicotero. I believe the showrunner is like David Zabel or whatever have you say his name. Did a good job. I thought it was cool. But I think they initially signed on for 3 seasons of the Daryl Dixon show. But, initially it was supposed to be the Daryl and Carol show. But in episode 5 and episode 6, we hear Carol. We see Carol in the final episode, which was great. A lot of people thought we could see it. They decided to go that route, which was great. Carol's back. Carol and Daryl, I said it before I had to pause the stream, they're 2 of the most impactful, important characters in the history of the Walking Dead universe. And I'm glad they're giving them story that makes sense. I think Norman Reedus, and I think a lot of characters in the Walking Dead universe, but I think Norman Reedus really takes pride in his character and Daryl and just everything. There was a lot of talk that Daryl was going to be killed off in the 1st season. Carol was supposed to die in the 3rd season of the show. But instead, they traded for T-Dog. Imagine if Daryl was killed off in the 1st season and Carol was killed off in the 3rd season. The show would be terrible compared to what it came out to be. No, terrible isn't the word. It wouldn't be as good as it was. It would still be good, but Carol is a huge character in it. She just got better and better and better and better every season. And then you have the stuff with the kingdom and Ezekiel and the wheelchair and the things and that and she's scared and it is what it is for season 7. But then she got back to normal and this and that and it was great. But it's just one of those things where Carol, Daryl, it really works. Now Maggie Negan, that don't work. It works for those characters, but it don't work together. That is so forced. And it still works. It still was a decent show. The Maggie Negan dynamic was not nearly as good as, the Carol Daryl dynamic, and they didn't even see each other in the season. But Negan is a great character for the series and seasons and whatever to continue with it. And Maggie, I don't know what they're doing with Maggie, The Maggie character has been all over the place, too. So, but, her arc is to hate Negan and whatever too, but that's a whole separate thing there too. So Daryl, wherever Daryl goes, we can always assume that he's going to get captured, he's going to get injured, some kid's going to fall in love with him and enjoy, want Daryl to be around and appreciate him because Daryl was great. And I think everybody, all the fans and everything like that too, I think they can enjoy Daryl for what it is, right? Do you not like Daryl, but you like the show? I guess some people don't like Daryl. There's some people, some trolls out there that, in some Walking Dead Facebook groups and blah, 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 that used to, all they would do is complain about Daryl. And I was like, boop, unfollow. I'm out of that group. Because, what's the point of hating one of the biggest characters, too? Daryl's right up there with Rick, in my opinion. But, and since Rick went away, Daryl took over with help from Carol. And it makes sense that Daryl has to get help from people because this isn't an 80s action star like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone. You need help. You need stuff there too. So I would assume Daryl's popular everywhere. I think everybody loves Norman Reedus. I mean, it's hard to not like that guy. He just seems like a nice, genuine, good person. I think so. But my favorite guy is my favorite character is Michonne, so I'm excited to see what happens there. and what's going to be the future of their story. Come February, we'll find out. So the next show is Fear the Walking Dead. And Fear the Walking Dead, it's just Troy's back, Madison's back, Morgan's gone. So we're not going to see him in the remaining 6 episodes. So you're going to have the OGs of Fear the Walking Dead is how they want to end it. And I get it. We got to find out what happened to Madison, how she survived. Is it going to make sense? I don't know. What could they do that shows how she survived? Because she was surrounded by walkers. She was using the flare to attract them to her. And then all of a sudden she got out somehow. So we haven't seen that yet. Same thing with Troy. He was hit in the head twice. And then the dam blew up. So how did he escape? I don't know, right? So, and then Strand is Strand. And the character, to me, Fear the Walking Dead had promise. It had potential. It had things going for it. But to really say, we're going to do our own thing and not connect or have any sort of connections with the Walking Dead universe or the Walking Dead, because at the time it was just Walking Dead and Fear, for the first 3 seasons. And they're like, well, that was a misstep. And then the showrunner changed and this changed and that changed. Then we'll bring Morgan over. So then you're forcing connections. And it's the Walking Dead universe. Like, connect the dots. But it is what it is. It's just another thing for people to watch. Season 4 was okay with Fear. Like, I like Morgan. I like John Dory. June was good. Then you kill off Nick. You make everybody want to go again. And it was just a mess. They never really had a true villain. And Troy is like probably one of the better villains on the series. But then he was killed off. And then you bring him back and we're supposed to just believe that it's okay. Like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Troy's back. Good. Madison's back. Madison has COPD and she needs oxygen. That's not easy to find. And then it's going to be a battle for Padre. And how can Strand and Daniel work together? Daniel remembers stuff now. He's not this weak, just shell of a man like he was. How is it going to work? I don't know. Diana asks, what's up with the name Anton from Strand? Any thoughts? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Strand was trying to not be Victor Strand because he was terrible and he didn't want to be known as the guy that had the tower and didn't share with people. And he was, it was just annoying. Like, it was just like it works with Strand to be with Madison, but I'm glad Morgan's not there because that would make no sense whatsoever because they couldn't, because he tried to kill Morgan. So Martha rules. Yeah, Martha, socks and sandals, just terrible. So, Anton is, Victor Strand trying to reinvent himself or go on the run and just hide from his past kind of thing, too. Teddy was good. Teddy's probably the best villain, of the series. But either way, they're all gone. We'll have to see what happens with those characters and Madison and will Alicia show up? I don't know. So yeah, Jason says they have a Madison swinging a 20-pound sledgehammer like she's Brock Lesnar. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, and she's got COPD, and it'd be difficult to swing for anybody. But I don't know. Yeah, Marcel says, no, the best guy is the guy who died on the bridge for the camera. Yeah. Like, just laughable. But that's Fear the Walking Dead, and that's the next show. So, I'm just glad that Morgan's daughter, Mo, is not going to be on there, because she got annoying, man. She was like, no, we can do it. I'm this. I'm annoying. No, I can help you. I'm leaving. No, I don't want to stay. No, I'll be back. We can do this. No, guys, let's get together. We have to save them. I'm not a kid. No. It was just like, enough. Enough of this lady. Enough of this chick, man. So I'll have to see, what happens there. But, I'm super excited for the Rick and Michonne show. That's going to be here February, So once we get through Fear of the Walking Dead, well, there's also, I think there's supposed to be a thing on Daryl Dixon's show after tonight. After the episode, there's like an inside look of season 1 of it, too, of the Daryl show. So I don't know if that'll be online or something as well. And I know you can watch the panel for New York Comic Con with Daryl and Greg Nicotero and whatever there too. So Jason says rumors are that they're going to have an Avengers Endgame type of that with the CRM. What do you think? So yeah, so Jason, I think you came in late, but so before the person was knocking on the door or whatever, I was talking about this. So at New York Comic Con, I believe, Gimple, I didn't see it. I didn't see Gimple talking about it. I didn't see the stuff. I have to actually watch the panel. Or maybe it's hearsay that I heard that Gimple said that this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. So now it's confirmed that this is happening. That's happening too. So let me see if I have the thing on my phone. Yeah, here it is. Let me see what it says. So per a source, Scott Gimple confirms that the idea of the Walking Dead universe is in the end. Unite all spin-offs in one series. This includes series such as Fear the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead World Beyond, The Walking Dead Dead City, The Walking Dead Daryl and Carol, The Ones Who Live. So it wouldn't necessarily be a season 12 of the main series. The crossover would have a different title. So confirms the idea of the Walking Dead universe uniting all the spin-offs in one series. So I don't know what that means, like that's going to happen, or he likes that idea, or that could happen. Confirmed is a big word. So I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I've said this before when people asked me, what is the ending that I would want to see? What is the ending if I was going to write it? How would I end it? And that's how I would end it. I've said it years ago. That it makes sense to have that be the true end game of the series, where there's big wars, big battles, setting things up. So if that's going to happen, that means a lot of characters need to live. The Commonwealth versus CRM. Padre people, Fear the Walking Dead people, World Beyond people, Ones Who Live people, Daryl and Dixon, Carol, New York people, maybe the New Babylon Marshals, I don't know. Whoever. Bring it all on. Bring it on, everybody. Just like Infinity War and Endgame, which are great movies. And it's rewarding to see all the people come together. And you have those moments like when they reverse the snap and Captain America's there and you hear Sam on your left. Great moment. If there's great moments like that in the Walking Dead universe, it would be Michonne and Rick reuniting with everybody. Like, how awesome would it be if Carol, Daryl, whoever is trapped and cornered by the CRM? Like, all you have to do is say Jeanette is connected with the CRM. Boom, connection, done. It's easy. Like, why don't you do it? I don't know. But either way, Carol, Daryl, trapped. They get back to the States. They're being hunted for what they did in France, blah, 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 blah. They're there. They're cornered. They're surrounded. There's no way out. And who saves them? Rick and Michonne. That would be amazing, right? Who wouldn't want to see that? Or the other way around. That Rick and Michonne are trapped and they can't get out. And Carol, Daryl, and the whole Commonwealth, everybody saves the day. And then the CRM people get away and they regroup and then there's a big battle. I would love to see that. I think it would be amazing. Just make it fan service. Just do what it is. Bring everybody around. Just do that. Like, it's not hard. Gimple, it's not that hard. I'm an amateur writer and I took that in 5 seconds it took me to do it. Do you not know the Endgame, Gimple? Do you not know the Endgame, Kirkman, Nicotero, Gale Ann Hurd, whoever? Right? Like, come on. Make it rewarding again. The Walking Dead fandom will come back for that. I think you would get a lot of success and a lot of people would see that. The Daryl show, hopefully brought people back to the Walking Dead universe. Hopefully Dead City did. But then if Daryl did, then that's great too. And then if the Rick and Michonne show is great, that's 3 things. And plus Fear the Walking Dead's ending. Yeah, Jeannie says, I don't think Gimple does have an endgame. I agree too. Like, I don't think Gimple knows what he's doing and has to do this and this. Or maybe he does know what he's doing somewhat, you know. But it's tough to get all these people together on the same page. These writers, these showrunners, this show, that show, these people, that show, this, that, all these things. And with the actor strike and the writer strike and this strike and that strike, now the writer strike is done. Now the actor strike is still going on. Just get it done. And I really hope that it was like, okay, we're going to do Rick and Michonne's show. Then what? Is it really going to be 1 season of 6 episodes and that's the last that we see these characters? What's the resolution of that? Rick throws a green bottle in the water. Are we ever going to see that again? Are we ever going to see Morgan again? Morgan said it would take a lot of writing, a lot of this, something great for him to bring him back. I think that is great writing, something huge to bring him back. Who was Carol talking about that came back? So, I just think that's the best way to end it. It's the only way that I could see it having a fulfilling ending that would be satisfying. And I think Rick dies at the end of that. Like I think Rick has to die at the end of the series, too. I think that's what it would be. But he does it in a way that's wounded. Like I said before, I still stand by this. Rick and Michonne are fighting off the CRM. Rick gets wounded, but he can stay alive to get back. But he makes it back just in time to see his kids and say goodbye. To meet them, but also say goodbye. Because it's the Walking Dead universe. You know, people need to die too, so. Dragon says, I would rather not see Rick and Michonne get back to Alexandria, etc., only because in the timeline they have been gone for so long. Let them both die together. Well, I see what you're saying. I know the timeline complicates things. The Walking Dead universe timeline is crazy. But I think a lot of people want to see Rick and Judith. Rick and RJ. And I think it'll be it'll feel unfulfilled or unsatisfied if that doesn't happen. Call it fan service, call it cheesy, call it whatever you want, but I think we have to have those moments. We don't have to have anything, but I just think it would be good too. So, Tim says, I threw notes in bottles 50 years ago, never got a response. Did you have like questions on there? Like, what were you putting in bottles? Like, where were you hoping to get out of that? You know? But overall, Daryl's show was great. And I'm glad it was. Because I like the Walking Dead universe still. I'm still a fan. It still has me interested. Dead City was a good start. A lot of good stuff there, too. So, but like I said, we're wrapping up Fear. It's crazy. It's October 15th. I don't know about you guys, but this month is flying by. Before you know it, it'll be Halloween, and then it'll be November, and then it'll be Thanksgiving, and then Fear's over that Sunday. And then it'll be December, and then the holidays, and then January, and then hopefully we get an address. Hopefully we get a date for the Ones Who Live show. Like, hopefully that's announced before next year. Like, at the end of this year. Hopefully we get a trailer and a date. Maybe that can be the end of in November or December. That would be cool. Because that's what you could do. You could have that in December. So you would have Daryl's show ends, Fear the Walking Dead ends, the trailer December, January gets ready for February, that show, and then I don't know for filming wise what the other stuff is too. So Yeah, so let's look at February because, so you have the Sundays are the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. My guess would be the 18th or the 25th. They don't want it to be Super Bowl weekend, so I'm guessing that's the 4th. Is that when Super Bowl is? But I'm just going to go with the 18th or the 25th. Makes the most sense. So I don't know what there is, but it said February, so there's only so many Sundays in February. Marcel says, I hope we see a lot of Major General Beale, but I have my doubts. Yeah, I mean, Major General Beale needs to set the tone here and be a big character for this show, The Ones Who Live, and also the future of it. If he's going to be the big bad, if he's going to be the big general that's going to get stuff done, then yeah, do it. Bring him around. Connect the dots a little bit. But yeah. So we'll have to see. It'll be here before you know it. It just felt like forever. The Daryl show felt like forever to get here. But it was worth the wait. Dead City was good. The Ones Who Live definitely feels like forever ago. Like, we haven't seen Rick since season 9 of The Walking Dead. Michonne left in season 10. There was talk of movies. There was talk of this. There was talk of that. Then that fell through. And now, February 2024, so we're going to get 6 episodes of that. Kimmy says, did you guys see the eclipse yesterday? I did not. I didn't go outside or look at it at all or do anything. I was doing stuff around the house and inside, so too. Carol asks, I wonder if the Daryl Dixon show will wrap up the scientist and variant. Yeah, I mean, the variants kind of felt just like, I don't know, like the burners and stuff, like whatever. I mean, they kind of painted themselves in a corner with the variants because they had the walkers pick up stuff early on, and they're like, oh, we got to get back to that. How do we get back? Oh, variants, pandemic variants. Let's do it. Okay, variants. They can climb stuff now. Oh, and also when Daryl was fighting, I thought was very interesting. When Daryl and Quinn were chained together, and there's the 2, or was it 4 walkers? I think there was 4 walkers. One of the heads explodes. The 3 get released. The one walker attacks the other walker and kills it. Rips the jaw off. And then the other walker. So there's 2. So 2 out of the 4 go against Quinn and Daryl. But I thought that was pretty interesting about Daryl, or about the walkers going after other walkers. Like, what was that about? Will they explain? Will they explain ever the science of things? The lack of decay in walkers. The stuff that just, I don't know. Will they explain it a little bit more? I don't know. They don't have to. But, so it was kind of interesting with the walkers. And I mean, the one walker ripped the bottom jaw off the other walker. And then they came after Quinn and Daryl. And so, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens, what's in store for season 2. And I'm excited to see how it goes down for the future of the Walking Dead universe. It was good. So the Walking Dead universe is in pretty good hands after Fear the Walking Dead, in my opinion. Who knows? Maybe Fear the Walking Dead, the final 6 episodes will be good. But like I said, my expectations are low, super low. So if it's going to be anything, it would be good because I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting it to be dumb and not make sense. And so the whole Anton Strand thing, Troy coming back, going after Padre, going after Madison. Okay, he wants revenge, but we'll see. I mean, we have to get over the fact, or I guess I got to get over the fact, that Troy is back because it made no sense. I have to get over the fact that Madison is back because it made no sense. But they are there. It's what it is. And so we'll have to see how it goes down starting next Sunday, Fear the Walking Dead, season 8, episode 7. 8 seasons of that show is crazy. So there you go, guys. I apologize before about this. Someone knocking on my door and stuff on there too. And I don't know what it is. But ultimately, guys, thank you, guys. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I won't be back next week for my live stream. I got some stuff going on. But I'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about Fear the Walking Dead, the Walking Dead universe, and all that good stuff. Remember, guys, like, share, subscribe. We truly appreciate all love and support. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, and belief and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. See you guys. Enjoy tonight's episode if you haven't seen it yet. And I'll see you in 2 weeks.